You see, we often imagine getting what we want as a kind of chase, as if life is a distant prize we must sprint toward, breathless and desperate. We draw lines, make lists, set deadlines. We tighten our grip until our knuckles turn white. And yet the more we strain, the further the thing seems to drift from us, like trying to catch water in a clenched fist. The great paradox is that the path to getting what you want begins not with pursuit, but with listening. There is a current, subtle, ancient, running through all things. It carries the tides, the seasons, the turning of the earth, and yes, it carries you. When you learn to feel it beneath your feet, you'll see that much of what you seek is already moving toward you. Think of desire not as a command, shouted into the void, but as a conversation with the universe. When you whisper what you long for, the world whispers back. Sometimes it answers with a door opening in front of you, and sometimes with a closed one, not as punishment, but as a gentle redirection. The ocean never argues with the wind, it simply moves with it. In the same way, your desires must learn to move with the life that is already unfolding around you. But here's the trick. This isn't about giving up or becoming passive, it's about alignment. When your inner longing is in harmony with the greater flow, there's no resistance. The journey feels less like climbing a sheer cliff and more like walking a path that's been patiently waiting for you. The people you meet, the opportunities that appear, the decisions you make, they all start to form a pattern as if the world itself is conspiring in your favor. I'm not speaking of magic in the fairy tale sense, but a very real way life responds when you stop forcing and start listening. Have you noticed that some of the most profound turns in your life came when you weren't chasing anything? Chance encounter, a quiet thought, a moment of clarity in the shower. These things arrive unannounced, like gifts slipped into your pocket when you weren't looking. We are taught that control is the way to security. But real security comes from trust. Trust in the currents. Trust in the conversation between your soul and the world it inhabits. To align with life's flow is not to abandon your desires, but to place them into a stream that knows far better than you where the bends and waterfalls lie. So, the first step in getting whatever you want is not to fight the river, but to step into it with an open heart. Listen for its movement. Watch for its signs. Feel when it's carrying you forward and when it's telling you to rest. Let your longing be a sail, not an anchor. Because in the end, life is not something to be conquered. It's something to be danced with. And if you can find the rhythm, that secret music beneath all things, you will realize you were never chasing anything at all. You were only learning how to be carried home. We have this curious habit of imagining the path to our desires as a smooth, sunlit road. No potholes, no wrong turns, no storms. And when life hands us something rough, something heavy, we sigh and think, here's the detour. Here's the thing getting in my way. But have you ever considered that the obstacle is not blocking the path? It is the path, every challenge you meet, every silence that feels like a void, every delay that stretches your patience. These aren't interruptions. They're the very shape of the road you're walking. If you took them away, the road would disappear with them. You can't carve the mountain out of the climb because the mountain is the climb. It's tempting to think that you'll start living once you've gotten past the hardship, as though life has a real part and a waiting room part. But there is no waiting room. The slow days, the frustrating moments, the heartbreaks, the rejections, these are the fire that tempers you. Without them, the thing you're asking for would crush you under its weight because you would not have the strength to hold it. The universe, in its strange and patient wisdom, doesn't just hand you what you want. It shapes you into the kind of person who can receive it. And it does this through difficulty, because difficulty is the sculptor. Imagine asking for the ability to run a marathon, and the universe says, of course. But instead of handing you the medal, it hands you miles of road, sore muscles, and early mornings. This is not cruelty, it's preparation. And here's the thing, when you stop resisting the obstacle, it changes shape. What felt like a wall becomes a set of stairs. What looked like a locked door becomes a doorway you simply hadn't learned how to open. Resistance blinds us to possibility, but acceptance sharpens our vision. Suddenly, you're not asking, why is this happening to me? But rather, what is this teaching me? What strength is this building? What part of me is being prepared for what I've asked for? If you think back on the most meaningful things you've ever achieved, you'll probably notice they didn't arrive without struggle. There were moments you doubted, moments you wanted to walk away, and yet you didn't. Something in you chose to keep moving, not because it was easy, but because deep down you knew there was no other road worth taking. And in the end, the challenge didn't just deliver the outcome you wanted, it delivered you to yourself. So maybe the next time you find yourself face to face with a challenge, instead of shrinking back, lean into it, feel the texture of it, learn its shape. Understand that it is not an enemy, but an artisan, chipping away everything you are not, so that what remains is everything you need to be. Because here's the quiet truth. The thing you call a struggle today will one day be the very thing you are grateful for. The thing you look back on and say, without that, I wouldn't be here. And when you realize that, every obstacle becomes less of a burden and more of a bridge. In the end, the road and the challenge are one and the same. Without the challenge, there is no journey. Without the journey, there is no arrival. We often approach life as though we are waiting for permission, waiting for the right sign, the right timing, the right blessing to finally begin. We imagine the universe as some grand gatekeeper holding the keys to our desires, and we stand outside like beggars, hoping our turn will come. But here's the truth. You are not here to wait at the door. You are here to build it, open it, and walk through. To get what you want, you must see yourself not as a passive receiver, but as a co-creator. Life is not a vending machine where you insert your request and hope for the best. It's a canvas, and your thoughts, words, and actions are the strokes of the brush. Every choice you make is shaping something, whether you are aware of it or not. The shape of your life is not drawn solely by fate. It's drawn by the conversation between your will and the unfolding design of the world. Think about it. The things you have in your life right now, whether you wanted them or not, are the result of countless small decisions. The people you spoke to, the places you went, the moments you said yes, and the moments you said nothing at all. Even your silences have shaped your reality. You are constantly weaving threads into the fabric of your life. The question is, are you weaving consciously or unconsciously? To co-create with life means you step into that awareness. You no longer wait for opportunity to knock, you knock yourself. And sometimes you even build the house in which the opportunity will live. This doesn't mean forcing your will against everything around you. It means engaging with the flow of life in a deliberate, mindful way. If life hands you the clay, you don't stare at it, wondering when it will become a pot. You shape it with your own hands into something you can use. There's a great freedom in realizing you have that agency. It dissolves the myth that your desires are only fulfilled through luck or divine lottery. Yes, there is a mystery to life, and yes, there are forces beyond your control, but within that mystery, you have immense power to influence, to choose, to act. You and the universe are partners in a dance. It brings the rhythm, and you bring the steps. And yet, here's the subtlety. Co-creating doesn't mean clinging. It's not about controlling every detail until you strangle the life out of it. It's about planting the seed and tending the soil, knowing the growth will come in its own form and time. It's about showing up, fully present, ready to move when the music changes. The creation is alive, and so are you. Some people wait their whole lives for life to give them something, not realizing they've been holding the tools to build it all along. They wait for the phone to ring without ever making a call. They wait for the door to open without ever turning the handle. But the moment you understand that you are not a spectator, everything shifts. The world stops being something that happens to you and becomes something you are shaping in real time. And when you start to live this way, something remarkable happens. The things you want begin to find you. Not because they magically appear out of nowhere, but because you have positioned yourself to meet them. You've built the bridge they needed to cross. You've become the kind of person they belong to. In the end, you are not here to beg for scraps from the table of life. You are here to sit at the table, to share in the feast, and to help prepare it. Because the truth is simple. Life is not giving you what you ask for. It's giving you what you create. We live in a world that worships speed. Everything must happen now. The reply to the message, the delivery at the door, the result after the effort. We've been trained to think that if something doesn't arrive immediately, it's either lost or never meant for us. But life doesn't work like that. The deeper, richer things, the things that truly change us, have their own seasons, and they do not bloom a moment earlier than they are meant to. There is a quiet intelligence to the timing of things. The ocean knows when to send its waves to shore, the moon knows when to pull the tides, the seed knows when to break open. And yet we, in our impatience, dig up the soil to check if it's growing, unknowingly delaying the very thing we're desperate to see. Trusting the timing of life means surrendering to this larger rhythm. It means understanding that delay is not denial, it is design. When the thing you want hasn't arrived, it is not because the universe has forgotten you, but because something in you or in the world is still being prepared. Maybe the opportunity is being built brick by brick. Maybe you are still learning the patience or wisdom to hold it without losing it. And the mystery, oh, the mystery, is that you rarely see the preparation while it's happening. You think nothing is moving, but somewhere unseen, pieces are aligning in ways you could never arrange on your own. A person you haven't met yet is making a decision that will one day change your life. A chance meeting is waiting for you in a place you don't even know you'll visit. Life is weaving these threads quietly, without announcing itself. Of course, there's a tension here. We are not meant to sit idle, doing nothing while we wait for life to act. We keep moving, keep creating, keep showing up. But we release the demand for when it must happen. We let go of the idea that our timeline is the only timeline. This is not passivity. It is a deeper kind of participation, one that trusts the larger unfolding even as we play our part. When you live this way, something beautiful happens. Peace replaces panic. You stop treating every delay as a verdict. You stop measuring your worth by the speed of results. Instead, you begin to savor the journey because you trust that whatever is coming is already on its way. And here's the irony. The very moment you stop grasping, things often arrive faster. Not because the world is suddenly moving quicker, but because you are no longer resisting it. You've stepped into harmony with its pace. You're no longer trying to force the river to flow faster. You're moving with it. And in doing so, you reach the ocean more naturally. The truth is, the things meant for you have a strange way of arriving at the exact moment you're ready for them. Not a heartbeat sooner, not a breath too late. And when they do, they feel inevitable, as though they could never have happened any other way. You'll look back and realize that even the detours, even the long waits, were part of the perfect sequence that brought you here. So trust the timing, trust the pauses, trust the silence between notes, because when you stop rushing life, life begins to arrive right on time.